Hi, Davi Agenda here from @WeLikeBeans or @figure.8.energy on Instagram. And there's a message that I've been marinating with. And it's about peace. You know, peace when your external environment is not that. And it's not maybe just because of like the way that the environment seems. It could be the individuals in it that have like different sporadic energy, and specifically with children. This keeps coming up. And I do a lot of events for the little light beings, and that means sometimes I'm teaching lessons and there's just children everywhere. Go ahead and climb up. And I'm still navigating it. There's a little bit of chaos energy, and I just love it. And not love it because I like the chaos, it's because I am perceiving it from a perspective where it's like, wow, I get to be in this experience right now as me, you know, like I'm in control of, 111, yes, I'm in control of my body, of my energy, and now there's outside influences, and I can register what each energy is, like what the motive it is. So if there's little children in different areas, well, maybe there's a child that's hungry or tired, and so their energy is going to be a little more like sporadic and loud and like sharp, and then there might be some like gentle energy in another area and just some like peaceful playing, and then like the two cross, and then, you know, say there's like 6, 7.
How are you?
Lovely. How are you? 8 children, and then there's the grown light beings as well, and maybe you hear the sirens from some mechanical thing, and like when we're in the city there's even more energy around, right? So there's a lot of distractions, and it's so easy to get caught up in it and be like, I can't, because like you're having trouble holding your own energy, right? And if you're having trouble holding your own energy, how are you going to be able to have a buffer for all the other external energy?
Taking my shoes off.
Okay, that's fine.
Take my shoes off.
Remember, stay out of the water. You go in the water, we're gonna go home. And a lot of times it could be like the mental as well. So like what I just did, I'm talking to you guys, and then I break and tap into that energy that was just given to me that needed something, and then I go back to the energy that I was in, because like I didn't let that derail me. I acknowledged like, oh, like this needs my attention right now, this being needs my attention right now. And when we do not have a full peace within ourselves, that's when these other influences become overwhelming, right? It's a message about our nervous system. And oh, it looks like he's okay. I think
he just got down.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it's not allowing the external energies that come in to affect the way that you are operating or radiating. Do you need something, dearie? Oh, hands up your mouth, remember? But if your nervous system is triggered, that says that your force field has a hole in it, a tear, fracture, and there's underlying reasons for it. Like, it is easy to be at peace when your external environment is peaceful, right? It's just the base. But also, if you're so afflicted by these other things, it's saying that there's a part of you that got triggered when you were exhibiting that energy. You know, I'm specifically speaking about children, right? And that chaos, because it's innocent. It is such innocent chaos. They're just being and experiencing these really, really big emotions, right? These energies that are coming through, and they're not fully aware of what their energy body is or how to contain it, or even societally, what is the proper amount of energy exertion at any particular moment, whether it's like the zoomies or the really, really loud speaking. And I feel like that's why I give it grace and I still have peace, because I know it's not an insidious thing. And I know that they're looking to us for guidance. If we show that, oh no, these external environments are so afflicting, then they're also going to start tuning into all the external things in order to have peace within themselves. And this can even branch as far deep into layers of people pleasing that flood out over different aspects of our life, because we're thinking, oh, in order to have peace within myself, there needs to be stillness all around, right there, and then it's easier to navigate because things just are. But that's not our reality. Like this energy, right? Oh, this is sudden. You're hurt? Yeah. Your foot. It's probably because you took your shoes off. Right? Right, you took your shoes off. And so if your feet need a soft area to be, where do you think is a soft spot for your feet? Probably not where the wood is at the playground. You can be in the grass, and that's fine, but then the grass is also wet, so you have to acknowledge that your toes are gonna get wet. Okay, so there's another option. You could put your shoes back on, and then you can walk through all of it. Which one do you think is a great idea?
Kiss.
I think kisses are great ideas. You can just stay up here right now. Mama's just talking. Mama's talking. Ooh, we're gonna lean up. Coexisting with all of the energies, right? That is the sweet spot. I was talking to somebody before coming here, and they were expressing about the history of why their situation is the way it is, and it's because of their parents and not getting what is just, right? And what that does is, we say parents because they're guardians, right? They're the ones that are older, wiser, the ones that are supposed to take care of the youth that's coming in. And if they're not giving the proper guidance, then they're passing on like mindsets that aren't beneficial. They're passing on lifestyles that aren't beneficial, and beneficial to the point of like, are you thriving or are you still surviving? And then you're passing that survival stuff onto your children or the youth of the day, and saying like, hey, this is how you're supposed to do things, and if you do things this way, then everything is all good in our minds, and then you can have peace in you knowing that you didn't upset us. And that's like that external influence. What? So that's like one way it can spill out. And another thing is, so I had 2 events happening this week, and one was a little light beans gathering, and we were teaching about meditation through dance, and we did like story times and interactive things, and it's just, it was, I did 3 things for littles. It was a really magical moment. The children could just run around, be free, like we're dancing, we're playing, but we're also like breathing, and we're being mindful, and we're talking about thoughts and talking about all these things that helped us as adults. And then we're teaching it to the children. We're teaching them how to cultivate peace within. And so we can still do this. We can still do this. And then I had a sound bath at a salt spa for the littles. And
Yes.
sound baths and salt spas, you're expecting them to be like just very quiet and peaceful. And when you have a bunch of children in the room, this ranged from probably 1 year to 7 years old. That's so many different levels of energy and so many different energetic awareness too. And then it's stimulating, so they're gonna want to run around and giggle and laugh and dance and maybe throw things. Maybe it just depends on what the energy is. And even though it's in a grounding space, like, it's helping to offset it a little bit, but the environment itself is not really creating the peace. I was singing, sounding, and playing the crystal bowls. I have tongla chimes. I'm doing all of this, and then so like that would be the base, right? Like, this is, for me, I was channeling, like, this is my inner peace. Like, I am flowing out the energy that I am feeling with all of these children running around in this environment, playing the way that they are playing, just being and feeling grateful that they're getting the health benefits that they're getting, and they're getting a dose of immunity, because we need it nowadays. There's just so much that our bodies are working through and processing. So, like, these things help. And sometimes people don't bring their children to events because they want it to be peaceful, because they feel the scorn from the external forces around if they're doing anything that's unsightly or making too loud of a noise. And then it's just like, well, where's the compassion? You know, children are just being, they're figuring everything out. It takes some time. They'll eventually be trained to societal standards, but in the moment, like, look, it's just innocent. They're just being. But it's probably because a part of them was not met with that when they were a child. So it's just like passing on that expectation of how children are supposed to behave. And anyways, at the end of the sound bath, like, I'm always feeling like really great. Like, I love the chaos energy of children, like, going everywhere, because it's like, it's managed chaos, right? It's contained chaos. And a couple of the moms were talking, and one of the moms was saying, like, the bowls was my peace. She's like, this is how I feel on the inside when I look at everything all around. And I was just like, whoa, like, she gets it. Like, you have to have that peace inside, and then the chaos is just something that you manage, right? The chaos, the innocent chaos of children or unexpected energies is just this energy to move around and manipulate. And then when you don't care so much about what the external forces are saying, because you know you got it, you know what you're doing, you know that you're not doing things in the same way that things were done before because it wasn't working. You know, it got us to this point, and now we're evolving. And that's uncomfortable sometimes, because it means maybe we let our children express themselves a little bit, you know? And the other event I want to talk about is the play lab that we did yesterday. And this was specifically for adults, but there's another section for the children. So we had a bunch of instruments. I don't know how to say all of the names of them. I don't know. 4 hand pans, violin, ukulele, drumsticks, crystal singing bowls, tongala chimes, bells, guitar, flutes, maracas, all sorts of different instruments, and we all got to play with them from a primitive standpoint. We were like, let's channel our inner 3-year-old, how our inner 3-year-old would love to play, and do it that way. And then I was guiding, like, our first instrument. Our first instrument is our body, and we do not make all the weird, wild noises that feel excellent and great because society told us not to, because it's unsightly and pleasant or whatever, but then we don't feel free. So anyways, there's the children, and you hear this whole background of, like, children laughing, playing, giggling, them playing with the instruments in the way that they would play them too. And it was almost like the adults were being re-child, you know, taught how to play instruments from a standpoint where you're not overthinking, you're just being with it, right? And that was absolutely incredible. We even tapped into, like, animal noises and danced and just expressed purely as we could for the level of programming that we have. And so, you know, sharing circle at the end, and one woman, she was talking about how she left her children at home, even though she knew that children were accepted, because she just wanted a moment to herself. you know, to be in another environment. And so often that's what we're doing, right? When we're wanting our external environment to just be peaceful, it's so that we can get a moment to breathe and create peace within ourselves. And then she's around all of this energy and she's literally learning how to be the child herself. And so when she goes back with her children and her children are being a little bit wild, you know, she says that she'll go in and she'll do it too. And the children might look at her like it's a little strange because they're used to the adults being programmed differently. But then they love it because then it takes away the hierarchy of expectations on the way that people are supposed to show up. And so especially with the youth, and oh my goodness, I'm just like, I'm having proud mom moments because I don't tell him to do this, but he's taking the peels and he's throwing them in the trash. I probably shouldn't be eating off of the bench, but the children, they know, they are so receptive. They are constantly absorbing everything in their environment. They are fully aware of how adults act, right? And they're learning. It takes some time. I feel like a message kind of jumped all over the place. It was mainly to act as this realization and expression about expecting the peace in your environment to be the catalyst for the peace within you, the permission to feel peace. When if you take care of yourself, do the meditative practices, shut out external noise like the judgments, rules, guidelines, expectations that are projected onto us, and we just put ourselves more in alignment with things that bring us peace, right? So it could deal with, like, if you're finding yourself triggered a little bit by your environment, it could be an indicator that there's another area of your life that isn't peaceful. And that's where the trigger of peace is stemming from. It's stemming from a deeper feeling of dis-ease within where your energy is going. And so you're more triggered for something else because, like, you're trying to control so much internally for the peace of something that you're sacrificing something else. But you don't have to sacrifice anything. That's something that was also programmed in us, like this scarcity mindset. And it's okay. We're working through it. We're all working through it on different levels. This phrase, the art of allowing, is coming into my field right now. I don't know if that's like a book, a poem, or like a way of being, but when I think of the art of allowing, I'm thinking about appreciating the beauty of the things that are. And when they're not insidious, if it's something like a child, it's like that's no need for a trigger. What it is a call for guidance, gentle guidance. So I am going to enjoy the rest of my Wendy Park time with my little Rianne, and hope that this message proved to be insightful or inspiring, and that maybe you start seeking what it is within yourself that needs a little extra love, a little tweaking. Why is it that you feel triggered in a way? Maybe you're tired. Maybe you overextended. Maybe you were taught that a certain behavior was not okay. Maybe the certain behavior really isn't okay. I think it's a good time for us to show up as the models of how we want our civilization to be, you know. Give our children, the youth, the grace that we deserved, that they deserve.